G'day, welcome back to an episode of MGUY EV News for Sunday the 15th of September 2024. Be sure to follow me on the usual socials for more content, links in the description, and please make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you never miss another MGUY video. So firstly, we have this absolutely hilarious start to a video from the China Observer. The video actually has quite a good point about electric car fires and the rate of fires that they're having in China, so we'll get on to that, but this opening scene is just hilarious.
Is this a movie scene? A Ghost Rider trailer? In the video, a car is completely engulfed in flames, speeding down an embankment before plunging into a river. Even after hitting the water, the fire doesn't stop. One viewer commented, "If it's still burning after hitting the water, it must be an electric vehicle."
Yep, that's pretty much the case. It doesn't look like an electric vehicle. I mean, where it's burning from doesn't look quite right. But anyway, this video does have a sensible point to it, and that is that the number of EV fires is just going through the roof in China. And if they eventually have 300 million odd electric cars, the rate of fires is just going to be astronomical. Let's just watch this next clip.
As more electric vehicles hit the road, the number of fires has also been rising. Many Chinese media outlets reported that, according to emergency management statistics, the number of new energy vehicle fires increased by 32% in the first quarter of 2023. On average, there are 8 fires a day involving these vehicles, including spontaneous combustion. Just imagine what will happen when there are 300 million electric cars on China's roads. Every day there are 8 electric cars burning. People might think that 9.6 million square kilometers is huge, but imagine if there were 42,900 electric car fires a day. What would that look like? This isn't made up, because Professor Minggao Ouyang from Tsinghua University said China's 300 million cars will all become electric. If 8 cars burned every day, based on the Ministry of Public Security's calculations for electric vehicle ownership, that's a spontaneous combustion rate of 1.43 per 10,000. Now, if you scale that up to 300 million cars, that's 42,900 fires a day.
Yeah, that's pretty scary statistics from anyone's point of view. I mean, China really is doing all the beta testing for EVs so that we don't have to. And it's not looking good. There are a lot of fires, and there are more problems, as we will see. They're actually starting to ban EVs in China now from certain places. Let's have a look at the story. China bans electric vehicles from underground car parks. They explode as if packed full of toxic dynamite, and one nation has already started cracking down on electric vehicles as a result. They flare out in a jet of flame with vicious intensity. They explode as if packed full of toxic dynamite, and when lithium-ion batteries burn, nothing can extinguish them. This is why Chinese hotels and property managers have begun to ban all electric vehicles, scooters, e-bikes, family cars, or commercial vans from their undercroft car parks. But are they falling for one of the human brain's most ancient weaknesses, or taking sensible precautions in the face of a new, unanticipated threat? A flash in the pan. Hotels and other buildings in Hangzhou, Ningbo, Zhoushan and other places in Zhejiang have banned electric vehicles from entering underground garages for safety reasons, sparking heated discussions. Chinese online dissident Mr. Li is not your teacher reported in a post to X, which is banned in China in September. One of the 3 photos attached to the post shows a sign in front of the Huigang building in Ningbo's Zhejiang province instructing owners of electric vehicles to divert to a nearby parking lot with wide open spaces. Well, it makes sense. I mean, you know, we're seeing this now. That South Korean fire, the EQE in Seoul, I mean, that was an absolute disaster. One EV causing, you know, millions, maybe billions of dollars worth of damage. It's absolutely insane. So to ban them from underground car parks it's just going to be inevitable, I think. China's also got massive problems with the electricity infrastructure creaking under the strain of all these EVs. And when it gets a bit toasty and warm in the weather, they just don't work anymore. And this, again, another great China Observer video, check it out, link in the description, just shows the lengths they have to go to deal with these terrible cars.
Look, the car's pushed up. but it won't charge. Once this light comes on, the car can only go a few kilometers at most. So you've been waiting here since 3 a.m.? Yeah, there's no other way. I woke up at 5:30 this morning just to charge. I can't believe it. As a car vlogger, I never imagined there could be such a huge issue with electric cars. Right now, I'm in Chengdu, trying to charge my electric car at a station, and only after arriving here did I realize I can't charge it. The plug is connected, and when I scan the code, it says the terminal is not operational. I thought maybe the charger was broken, so I switched to another one, but it still didn't work. It's not just me. Nobody here is able to charge their car. After asking around, I found out it's because of power restrictions. Hey man, are you able to charge? Nope.
It's absolutely insane. And this is just, as I say, they're doing the beta testing for EVs being rolled out globally, and it's an absolute disaster. Because as soon as the weather gets a bit warm and people start turning on their air conditioning, the electricity grid can't cope, which is exactly what we've been saying. But nobody listens, or nobody thinks it's real. But here it is, happening for real in China. And another fire story, you'll have heard recently about this fire at the Rivian plant. 50 of its vehicles were destroyed by a fire. Well, it turns out it was just because one of those cars had a dodgy battery and shouldn't have been parked anywhere near the others. This is one of the big problems with EVs. Of course, if they get damaged, they have to be quarantined. And vehicle repairers, motor mechanics are having a real problem with this, because where do they put the damn things? Exclusive Rivian plant fire caused by EV with critical battery issue, parked in wrong place. A few weeks ago, there was a fire in a parking lot outside the Rivian factory in Normal, Illinois. It was estimated that about 50 new trucks were damaged, but thankfully no one was hurt and the fire never reached the actual facility. At the time of the fire, Rivian claimed that it was still working to determine the cause. However, a source claiming to be a Rivian employee told The Drive that the fire started from a vehicle with a critical battery issue placed in the wrong zone on the lot, near ready-to-ship EVs. According to the source, who's chosen to remain anonymous, I wonder why, the Rivian plant was understaffed that day, so some employees were put on different tasks than usual to help fill in. When an R1, whether it was an R1T or R1S is unclear and doesn't matter, needed to be separated from the herd and contained for having a potentially dangerous battery issue, the staffer who moved it was operating outside their normal duties. Instead of parking the defective Rivian in the lot's designated containment area, they left it next to other cars that were purportedly awaiting final OKs before being delivered to customers. That Rivian battery ended up igniting and spreading fire to many of the nearby ready-to-ship vehicles, the source told The Drive. Rivian employees then reportedly had to scramble to find replacement vehicles for customers awaiting their orders. Naturally, it was tough to match customers' specific orders with vehicles already in inventory. According to one source, customers who received delivery from the factory within the last few weeks were given Frankenstein replacements, or vehicles with parts retrofitted to match orders as closely as possible. Yeah, well, dealing with repairs for these vehicles is just another headache, because you need to quarantine them. They have to be spaced apart, so that if one goes up, then it doesn't set fire to the buildings or to other cars. I mean, you can't now park your cars waiting to be repaired in your shop, like right next to each other, which is what every shop does now to maximize space, maximize throughput, but can't do that now. Wow. Now this is an absolutely terrifying video, and it's not so much to do with electric cars per se, although they are the worst culprits. It's more to do with, electronic control, no physical door handles, no way of getting into the car when it's, if the battery fails or an electrical control module fails or whatever. And this is what happened to this poor mother whose 3-year-old son was stuck in a Tesla on one of the hottest days, and she was obviously panicking. Let's watch the video.
I don't want this to happen to anybody else. What I went through, the experience, it was just awful.
On Monday, September 9th, a scorching hot day, Cassandra Pineda experienced the scare of her life.
It was hot. The last time I checked the monitor, it said 109 outside. So I can't even imagine how hot it was inside.
She was just all over the place, just saying, my baby, my baby, my baby. Please break the window, break the window.
Adrian Ortega and Cassandra were both charging their cars at this Tesla supercharger in the San Fernando Valley at 3:30 in the afternoon. When Cassandra stepped out to disconnect the charger, her Tesla unexpectedly locked her out with her 13-month-old boy, Liam Valenzuela, still inside.
Well, I'll leave you to watch the rest of the video at the link. It's distressing, to say the least. And anyone who's got kids would realise just how stressful that is if you can't get into your car and it's hot and you can't break the windows because they're toughened glass. They eventually did manage to get in and save the poor kid after about 8 minutes, but that's 8 minutes, which must have felt like a lifetime to that poor mother. Madness. So a quick story on how the EV market in Europe is just cratering. And like I said in one of my earlier videos, all the supply chain falls apart as well because, all the battery manufacturers, they don't have orders anymore because the manufacturers aren't building EVs as much as they used to. So it's like a house of cards. It's all collapsing. Struggling Northvolt stokes fear for Europe's battery future. Stockholm Northvolt's shock decision this week to shrink its operations and cut jobs has sparked fears that Europe's best shot at a homegrown electric vehicle battery champion may stall, sector experts and people familiar with the situation told Reuters. Struggling with order delays and the loss of a $2 billion BMW contract in June, CEO and ex-Tesla executive Peter Carlson said on Monday the company he co-founded in 2016 would stop producing cathode active material, CAM, a crucial battery component, scrap plans for a Swedish facility, and seek investors for a plant in Poland. The Swedish company said it will focus on its core business of making battery cells, the units that store chemical energy. The decision effectively means Northvolt, Europe's most developed battery player, has stepped back from its original mission to be an all-in-one shop offering everything from material production and battery making to end-of-life recycling. And yeah, you can read the article, obviously it's linked in the description, but this all means that we're going to rely more on, wonder where? Oh yes, China. Because if we can't make it in Europe, we're going to have to import it from China. So not only are we unable to, make EVs in Europe, we're unable to make the batteries either. I mean, it's absolute disaster. So those of you who would have seen my video on the Tesla semi-fire, I'll link it up here and also in the description. There's a follow-up to that story which explains how environmentally friendly it was because it took 50,000 gallons of water to put out a Tesla semi-fire in California. US agency says that's about getting on for 200,000 litres of water, which obviously all went into the environment. There's no way they would have contained that, and it contained all the nasty toxic chemicals from the battery. Brilliant. California firefighters had to douse a flaming battery in a Tesla Semi with about 50,000 gallons, 190,000 litres, of water to extinguish flames after a crash, the National Transportation Safety Board said Thursday. In addition to the huge amount of water, firefighters used an aircraft to drop fire retardant on the immediate area of the electric truck as a precautionary measure, the agency said in a preliminary report. Firefighters said previously that the battery reached temperatures of 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. No, way more than that. Way more than that anyway. The NTSB sent investigators to the August 19th crash along Interstate 80 near Emigrant Gap, about 70 miles northeast of Sacramento. The agency said it would look into fire risks posed by the truck's large lithium-ion battery. A bit late now, isn't it? They should have been looking into these risks well before letting these stupid semis on the road. This closed the I-80 for something like 16 hours. And, they had to treat it effectively like a bushfire. They had to drop fire retardant on it to stop it. That gives you an idea of the scale of the fire from this semi battery. I have no idea how many kilowatt hours that battery would have in it, but it's probably like hundreds, high hundreds? I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments, but it's a stupid amount. Another interesting story here about how what you actually see on your charging display, or the display on the charger, is considerably different from what you actually get in your battery, because there's so many losses involved in getting the electricity from the charger to your battery and then converting it from AC to DC. I'm assuming this is like level 2 AC chargers, so they have to convert that from AC to DC to charge the batteries. So it may not apply as much to the level 3 DC fast chargers, but anyway, just another way that you're getting screwed buying an electric car. Charging electric cars are wasting more power than you think. Charging an electric car might be more wasteful than many realize. A surprising amount of electricity is lost during the charging process, and some models are much worse than others, according to a new study by the German automobile group ADAC. Testing over 90 electric cars currently on the market, ADAC found that, on average, 14.5% of the electricity used at charging stations never even makes it into the car's batteries. That's energy and cash disappearing into thin air. The worst offender, the Mini Cooper SA, which wasted a shocking 30.1% of its charge. That's ridiculous. The Volvo XC40 wasn't far behind, losing about 20% during charging. Other notable energy guzzlers including the Dacia Spring, Mustang Mach-E, Nissan Leaf MG4 and Xpeng G9. Not all electric cars are culprits of massive power waste though. Volkswagen ID models fared much better, with energy losses hovering around just 8%. Best performer in the 10. Yep, okay. So what's causing all this energy loss? It all comes down to the need to convert alternating current AC from the charging station into direct current DC to store in the car's batteries. That conversion process is where a big chunk of the power goes to waste. Indeed it does. Just another reason why these things aren't the answer to everything. They really aren't. And finally, you're going to love this one. Ford files patent to eavesdrop on drivers' conversations. If you thought your phone was bad enough, you have a conversation in the morning and then Facebook is advertising that very same thing in the afternoon. How did that happen? Well, now they're even doing it in your car. Technology would listen for keywords that could help target adverts to occupants. Struth. Ford has filed a patent for technology that can eavesdrop on drivers and passengers to serve them hyper-targeted advertising. The technology would allow the car's infotainment system to listen to conversations between occupants of the vehicles, which its software could then filter for keywords or phrases. The system would learn what adverts annoy or irritate based on remarks spoken by the user when ads are presented to them, while it be able to recognize the vehicle's occupants based on in-car cameras. Or what the frick? I mean, this would be an absolute nightmare for privacy. I don't know how they're ever going to get this past privacy rules, but maybe they will. Maybe you just have to say, "We hate Ford" over and over again, and that'll shut them up. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for now.